Wow, wow, wow. What a game. I'm counting down the days. I've already set all the alarms for the second leg at Di San Siro. Barcelona 3. Inter 3. Let's just get it out from early. Respect calcio. Respect the Serie A. This arrogance. Everybody was thinking Barcelona would walk all over Inter. Especially when you look at the context. 3 L's in a row. Fatigued, tired. Lack of investment. Respect teams from across the world because you never ever know what they're about to throw at you. But listen, what a game. That is what you call Champions League football. That is what you call a semi-final. That is what you call two teams going out there, playing till the end and showing no respect to one another. I'm going to play the game to my strengths and you're going to play the game to your strengths and may the best team win. What a performance. What a performance. Now, before we get into everything, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like. Helps the channel grow and I will always appreciate it. But listen, where do we even start? Do we start with the goals? I personally, somebody that loves to talk tactics, systems, principles, I think Inzaghi, he played a tactical game of chess. I'll be honest with you guys. I think he played a tactical game of chess. He done something this year. He done something in this game which I haven't seen throughout the majority of games in the Serie A. And for him to deploy it, for him to try it, for the players to execute it, I loved it. I loved it. And I caught on to it in the first 10-15 minutes. Inter, whenever they would press this Barcelona, you could clearly see from this photo, Inter usually when they defend, they sit in their 5-3-2. Today against Barcelona, Inzaghi told his players, and I will explain it in a different way, they like to set up in this 3-2-5. They like to compact the centre of the field and drag you into it. And in my preview, I highlighted the fact that Inter, somebody is going to have to step into midfield. Either step into midfield or drop into midfield, whether it's Thuram, Martinez or Bastoni. You look at this photo, whenever Inter were looking to press and force Barcelona backwards, they would turn themselves into a 4-3-3. Yes, we haven't heard that before about Simone Inzaghi. You've always heard 3-5-2, 5-3-2, 4-3-3 to force the opposition out because he knew. The 3-2-5, as you can clearly see from this photo, you've got Pedri and you've got Frenkie de Jong, okay, as the two midfielders for Barcelona. But Dani Olmo would always drop deep to create the two-man midfield into a three-man midfield, which meant somebody from this Inter team had to follow him. Because if you don't, they've now got a spare player in build-up. And Bastoni, I had such a close eye on him this game because I really wanted to see how well he does against the Lamine Yamal, against the Pedri. But I realised whenever Dani Olmo would drift backwards and drop deep to receive the ball, Bastoni is there. And DeMarco would always then tuck inside because now he knows I'm not a wing back. I'm a fullback now in a 4-3-3. I personally loved that side of the game. I loved that transition. I felt like it really restricted Barcelona. As much as, yes, they dominated the ball. As much as, yes, they had opportunities. But I just feel like that tactical switch where they always thought we were always going to have that one free man in midfield. They probably never prepared for it. But Bastoni, to do the job on a consistent basis of stepping into midfield and then sitting back and being the left-sided centre-half, I felt like it was an amazing tactical performance from his end. But listen, guys, let's talk about the game. Now, they always tell you, Champions League semi-final, you go away from home, hostile atmosphere. What's the one thing you must do? What is the one thing you must do? And if you do it, it gives you such a massive advantage. Kill the sting of a game. I'm a firm believer in that. Wherever it is, yeah, you're playing in a park, you're playing in Sunday League, you're playing semi-pro. When you go away from home and you know there's pressure on you, the crowd are onto you. Kill the sting of the game, because when you kill the sting of the game, you suck all the confidence out of the opposition. You 1, 2, you surprise them, and 3, the stadium, it goes quiet. For Inter to score in the first 30 seconds, and what a goal. What a goal. Marcus Thuram, for me, I couldn't believe when I saw him in the starting 11. And I feel like even besides the goal, some might say Dumfries had the game of his life, which yes, he did. But Marcus Thuram, that physicality, the endurance, the ability to run the channels, the ability to drop deep and just hold off centre-halves. Like when you look at the goal, it starts from him. The ball is fed into him. Now he's just there, controlling the ball, dragging the Barcelona defenders with him and laying it off into Barella. And then Barella spreads the ball forward. Marcus Thuram gets into the box. Listen, when this ball comes to Marcus Thuram, this isn't taught on the training field. This isn't Inzaghi telling him when you get the ball in this situation and the Barcelona defender has slipped, you must do this. This is what you call improvisation. Only The best of strikers have this in their locker book. And when I saw Marcus Thuram receive the ball was a little bit behind him. And he's thinking, there's a defender on the floor. Do I really have the time to control, turn? Huh? Watch this flick. That is a ridiculous goal. Inter against Bayern Munich, they scored a lovely goal through Lautaro Martinez. Today, that Marcus Thuram goal was lovely. That is improvisation at its finest. That is Marcus Thuram. He sets up the goal from dropping deep. Then he makes the run into the box. And then he improvises with the finish. What a goal. Okay. Inter kill the sting of the game. Barcelona, they continue to mount pressure. Inter, they go 2-0 up. Dumfries, listen. This dude was having the game of his life. And he's another player that was brought back into the team after having an injury. But this, I think everything that I said about Marcus Thuram applies to him. This isn't taught on the training field. When the ball is loose in the air within the 6-yard box, go for a bicycle kick or for a half volley. You don't teach these things. These are just improvisation. This is where you look at the player and tell him, listen, you found yourself in a situation, in a predicament. You need to find a way to make it work. And I can't teach you this. This is just raw athleticism. This is his physicality. This is something that, funnily enough, Inter have missed throughout the Serie A this season. But what a goal. Literally back to goal to put it into the roof of the net. What a goal. Inter with the cushion. Now, I knew what was coming. Inter would sit back. Inter would invite pressure and look to kill Barcelona on the counter-attack. But guys, as much as I've right now just sat and praised the life out of the Inter players and their performances, and similar to what I've just said, some things just aren't taught on the training field. What Lamine Yamal just done, the best player in the world, you don't teach these things. You don't. You might get a set of cones and put them out there and tell him go in and out of them. Every in-game dynamic, every in-game situation is different. This is what the best players in the world do. In my opinion, the best player in the world, Lamine Yamal. To pick up the ball, take on 3-4 players and then wrap your foot around it and put it into the far corner. You don't teach these things, and I'll be honest, you can't stop those things. This is X Factor at the highest level, and that's why I said, what a game. Like the goals, the performances, the tactics on display. It was an amazing performance. 2-1 Inter. And then I feel like this was the poorest goal that I saw conceded today. Because a ball is floated into the box. Raphinha gets the flick on. Acerbi, it's you against Ferran Torres. And you can see Acerbi, he's scanning. He knows, okay, Ferran Torres is to my left. But now you have to, they always tell you as a midfielder, as a defender, as an attacker, you have to keep scanning your shoulders. You have to keep looking over your shoulders, because 1 minute they're on the left, then the other you're on the right. You need to make sure you position your body correctly to try and stop any possible danger. With Acerbi, I feel like he looked once to his left, he saw Torres, and he just assumed that's where he would be. Last minute, change of direction. It's a cheap goal to concede. It was lovely. It was created in a lovely way by Barcelona, but it's just cheap. It's just a lapse in concentration. That's the best way to put it. A lapse in concentration. You don't check your shoulders. You lose your man. And when you lose your man, the best of players punish you. 2-2. And guys, I was looking at that game and I was like, I hope this game doesn't end. I hope this game doesn't end. Both teams were going at it. Funnily enough, I feel like in the second half, that was Inter's half. In the first half, yes, Inter had opportunities. They punished Barcelona. But the majority of the game, the majority of the good moments fell into Barcelona's hands. In the second half, I've always banged on about Inter can defend, but Inter can also play a game of football when they want to, when they have the energy to, when they have the players on the field. Everybody saw the flicks and tricks, the gives and goals, the 1-2s, the balls over the top, the dummies, players carrying the ball. That second half performance by Inter, I've been banging on for the past 2 weeks. They need a reaction. They need a statement performance after losing to Bologna, after losing to Milan in the Coppa Italia, after losing to Roma. They needed a statement performance to say, don't brush us off. We've still got fire in the tank. That second half performance away from home to Barcelona, I was like, yo, this is football. Everybody was expecting Barcelona to be doing the flicks and the tricks, the ball domination, the progressive passing, the progressive carrying. Inter were like, yeah, don't worry. We can do the exact same. Second half, I felt like they had good moments. I felt like they had good opportunities. And then Dumfries, once again, now I've always banged on about when it comes to football, there's so many avenues to score goals. You can score goals from tactics, from your patterns of play. You can score goals from individual brilliance like Lamine Yamal, the X factor. You can score goals from opposition errors, and you can score goals from set pieces. Anybody that's watched this channel long enough, you'd always know I bang on about those four. If you master those four, you will forever be a dangerous team. And it was the point of the video when I said Inter have mastered football against Bayern Munich, because they showed in 180 minutes we can score system goals, we can score goals from individual brilliance, we can force you into mistakes, and we can score goals from set pieces. Dumfries leaps the highest, puts it into the back of the net. 3-2. Now it was just a matter of seeing out the game, but there was long enough time, and this is a talented Barcelona team. I feel like both teams will now go off the pitch and look at one another in the next leg and tell each other, you know what, I respect you. Yeah, I respect you. Maybe I underestimated you. Maybe I didn't know much about you. Maybe I was buying too much into what the media was saying and this and that. You are a good team. You are a good player. Barcelona, look, I feel like the point of this video is just the goals of individual brilliance. Once again, you don't teach these things. Fair enough, it might be a training ground tactic from the dummy, from Lamine Yamal. You don't teach these things where a ball comes to you 30 yards from goal, first time strike. Yes, you could say they were lucky. It hit off the bar and then it bounced in of Jan Sommer. But guys, you don't teach these things. I'll be honest, as much as I emphasized on the tactics where Inter might have restricted Barcelona in build-up, when you look at the caliber of goals, when you look at the improvisation, there's a reason why these two teams are in the semi-final. Because look at the players, look at the way they performed, look at the goals they scored. You don't teach these things. And when you've got players that can score goals of those caliber, that can step up and perform on a consistent basis, that can play their game against some of the best teams in the world in the most prestigious moments, the most high pressure moments, Champions League semi-finals, you deserve to be there. And that was a ridiculous goal. It was a ridiculous strike. Yes, on another day, it doesn't bounce off someone and go over the line. But listen, at the end of the day, you have to get that strike on target to have any chance of it going in. It was a lovely strike, but like, I don't know, running out of breath. Was 3-3 the fair result? One part of me says yes. One part of me says yes. And it's not as simple as go look at the stats and, oh, Barcelona had X amount of shots and they had X amount of possession. It's all about what you can do. I don't think anybody expected Inter to go to Barcelona and have 80-90% of the ball. Nobody expected that. Everybody knew Barcelona would dominate the ball, but you always had to keep an eye on what Inter can do once they get the ball. And I feel like Inter showed Barcelona. We can sit back and hit you on the counter. But at the same time, if you give us time and space, we can definitely play football in and around you. And they scored an offside goal, which, for me, it's wild. Like, I don't know how, like, the technology, the devices that they use, I don't know how accurate they are. Because me looking at it with a blind eye, I was like, listen, he's onside. But listen, at the end of the day, those machines, those facilities are there for a reason. But Inter showed Barcelona, we can play your game. We can be dynamic. We can be vertical. We can sit back. We can score from set pieces. We can score from individual brilliance and X factor. Respect us. And for fans across the world, respect Serie A. I just had to get that off my chest once again. But what a game. What a contest. I will definitely be there for the second leg, guys. I appreciate everybody watching the video. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to let me know what you think of that contest in the comments. And I will catch you guys on another one.